Welcome back, everyone. In this video segment, we'll get started on a brief overview of how to use Apica synthetic monitoring. What you see right now is the home dashboard of ASM once you've set up a few checks. Right now I have mine organized by function, but you can set these up in whatever way is relevant to your teams. Whether that's by application, business unit, location that these checks are running, it's really up to you. Here in the dashboard, we can get some quick insight into all the virtual traffic coming from Apica to your site or applications, whether that's external, coming from Apica's public-facing SaaS network, or internally, if you have an Apica internal agent running behind your corporate firewall. All that data is going to be aggregated here in the dashboard. So first off, I want to point out that all the events coming into the dashboard are mapped at a severity level. Those are going to be our greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. Essentially, these are informational, warning, errors, and fatals. That's how we define them. And the two reasons that we have these 4 levels rather than a simple just pass-fail or a red, yellow, green is first off to calculate a more precise impact on our application's SLAs. So this information and warning are not going to impact our SLA, whereas the orange and red will. So if I want to set thresholds on a rolling average or standard deviation of dominant or active timings, I can do that and set the SLAs to be triggered that way. Or if I want to only flag third-party failures as a warning, but not against my core SLAs, I can ignore failures that may happen on a third-party tracking pixel within a browser scenario. That's one of the ways that we allow you to be flexible in defining multiple severity levels for your SLAs. But the other, and I think also very importantly, is to have more categories to handle or help you handle how you create alerts. So each one of these severity levels are customizable. And we can get into more details of that in an advanced feature overview or with some great resources in Apica Academy or Knowledge Base for customizing these severity levels. And it's really up to you as what you want to define as a pass or a failure. If you're familiar with other synthetics, you also know that the more room you have to identify potential false positives, that directly converts to less alert fatigue that your response teams are going to have in responding to the alerts coming from your monitoring applications. Taking a step back to the dashboard, there's really 3 levels of detail coming from this top level, or 3 clicks to resolution that I like to say. And if you have an APM integration like an App Dynamics or Dynatrace that we have here, 3 clicks to resolution, allowing you to cross over to the APM level to do root cause analysis. The first level is the dashboard. The second level is going to be a detail view for a particular check. And the third level is going to be a run result level detail. I can actually bypass that second level right from the dashboard here by hovering over one of these status bars for the last 24 hours and hovering over this widget and clicking right down to that check run. So here I have that spike that I want to drill down into. I can do that right from here. But for the sake of process of this video, let's open a check first to get down to that detail level. So I'm going to use a check from this browser transactional scenario group, and that I have here is a Firefox, Chrome, Internet Explorer, and mobile check. These are all running browsers on our Apica demo site. So here I'm going to use this Firefox check as an example and go down to that second level of detail. And here's our check detail view, and it's going to draw a chart line showing the past 48 hours, identifying those severity statuses, the warnings, errors, or fatals. I can click in on any one of these nodes and go right down to the results. But before I do, I want to point out we also have an SLA calculator here, where here we are showing the number of samples over the past 12 hours in our SLA. I can change the sample period to the current month or a custom level and inspect the SLA over time. I also can have a widget here. This is essentially a blown up view of what we see on the dashboard screen with a few more details and a few more actions that I have that can take me to other areas of the portal here. Also like running a check if I want to run a check ad hoc, if I'm testing it while getting set up, I can do that from here as well. But let's continue on down to the next level. I'm going to click on this spike here, the warning that I'm seeing, and it's going to take us to the waterfall view. Just ahead of the waterfall, it's calling out, first of all, the result message. So the reason that we saw the warning is we have a upper limit of 20 seconds, and we breached that in this spike. We have the domains that are being called here, as well as the 10 slowest URLs. And we can see actually right from here that the leading culprit was this post of the last call, it looks like, and it took up 16 seconds of the whole transaction. So we can immediately identify which resources causing those problems from the run view here. I also have screenshots, and it's going to collect screenshots for every page load in the transaction here. I can also force these screenshots to be taken as many times as I like throughout the scenario as well. So if I have an application that performs like a single page application and I want to take multiple snaps of the details that I'm filling in, I can trace those and see if there's an error in the scenario, like a graceful error that's being served to me, or if the website's performing in a strange way that doesn't allow me to proceed to the next step. Coming down, I have my App Dynamics snapshot. So this was a check that's using the App Dynamics integration. So essentially every synthetic run that we're doing, we're going to be triggering an App Dynamics snapshot, and we'll be able to directly open that snapshot, essentially cross the bridge into App Dynamics and continue our root cause analysis. And it's not just coming from Apica to App Dynamics. We also tag every single one of our requests in the headers. So you'll be able to view Apica tag traffic from App Dynamics just as well. So whatever direction that you're coming to the root cause analysis, you'll be able to get to. Next on, I have our waterfall as well. So I'm seeing all the resources that are being called and the timings with them broken up by the different pages. And we can, of course, see at the bottom the pay and checkout final post, and that's taking a lot of time there. So that's really it from a drill down through the different layers into Apica from those 3 steps. There's some other views that we can get into, like a health and events view or an operations view to start the drill down, but we can get into those perhaps in later videos, and I hope to catch you in the next tutorial.